Hello everyone, hope you are well. I wanted to continue on my legend series, and today I wanted to give one of the most uh, economical bowlers of all time and one of the most accurate bowlers of all time, and someone who was an absolute match winner who could take wickets in a cluster. I'm talking about Sir Curtly Ambrose of West Indies. He was born 21st September 1963 in Antigua in West Indies, and he is regarded as one of the greatest fast bowlers of all time, and without any doubt one of the most accurate bowlers of all time, who made it very uncomfortable for batsmen with his height and extra bounce. He played 98 test matches for West Indies, and he took 405 wickets at a stunning average of 20.99, and he took 22 5-wicket hauls and 3 10-wicket hauls, and his best was 8 for 45. And in one day internationals, he played 176 matches, and he took 225 wickets with 4 5-wicket hauls. And in first class cricket, he took 941 wickets with 55 wicket hauls and 8 10-wicket hauls. And Curtly Ambrose is regarded as someone who was very uncomfortable to face as a batsman, because he was very tall. I mean, he was 6 feet 7 inches, which is more than 2 meters. And with his height, he always kicked the ball up from a good length. I mean, not even good length, even full length balls that Ambrose used to bowl used to kick up a lot. And batsmen always found it very difficult to come onto the front foot. I mean, of all the bowlers that I've watched, I think Glenn McGrath and Curtly Ambrose are the two bowlers that I've seen that batsmen have hardly ever driven through the covers for four. It was very difficult to come onto the front foot and drive them, because they hardly ever pitched the ball up. And Curtly Ambrose hardly ever swung the ball. I mean, he always obviously bowled back off a length, and his accuracy and bounce was his main strength. And obviously he moved the ball off the seam as well. And it was a very famous spell. One of the best bowling spells of all time was bowled by Curtly Ambrose in 1993 versus Australia in the fifth test at Perth, the WACA, Western Australian Cricket Association, the bouncy wicket, where he took 7 wickets for just 1 run. And that is one of the greatest bowling spells of all time. He wreaked havoc that day against the Australians. And similarly in 1994, when England were bowled out for just 46 runs, he took 6 wickets for just 24 runs. And he ran through the English batting lineup. I mean, Ambrose had a lot of success against the English batsmen, and I've seen many times Ambrose troubled the English batsmen a lot. And it also happened in 1992 when South Africa came back after cricket readmission after 22 years. Their first test match was played in West Indies at Bridgetown, Barbados. And South Africa were in a very strong position on the last final day. And on the final day, South Africa needed only 79 runs to win with the 8 wickets in hand, and that was seen as probably an easy task I mean, at that point. But Ambrose and Walsh had other ideas, and they took 8 wickets for just 26 runs, and West Indies won by 52 runs. But Barbados, Bridgetown was a fortress for West Indies, and they always gave their best there. But that was Ambrose and Walsh. And by the way, Ambrose and Walsh were one of the best opening bowling partnerships of all time. I mean, like Wasim Akram, Yunus, a lot of them. I mean, Alan Donald, Sean Pollock. I mean, a lot of great fast bowlers. I mean, there's a lot more in the early 70s, 80s. I mean, Lily Thompson, a lot of them. And definitely Ambrose and Walsh was one of the greatest opening bowling partnerships as well. Both of them very tall as well. And Ambrose, in 1992, he was selected as one of the Wisden Cricketers of the Year as well. And Ambrose had one of the best economy rates in the history of cricket. I mean, even in one-day internationals, his economy rate was a 3 point something. I've hardly ever seen a one-day match where Ambrose has gone for more than 50 runs. I think once I've seen him going for over 50 runs in a match. Otherwise, I don't remember him going for even more than 40, 50. I mean, normally he used to go around 30s. That was his normal self, because he hardly used to pitch it up, and he always relied on his accuracy, and he was extremely accurate. And he used to pitch, he bowled back of the length, and I mean, even from, like I said, even from fuller balls, I mean, that normally a batsman could drive on the up. I mean, at Ambrose, that ball would really just kick up and bounce. So he was one of the most, if not the most, uncomfortable bowler to face that I've seen in the 90s at least. And Michael Atherton, who was a great English opening batsman, had big problems with Curtly Ambrose, and Michael Atherton was dismissed more by Curtly Ambrose more than any other bowler. And even the batsman, I mean, Curtly Ambrose dismissed Michael Atherton more than any other batsman. And Ambrose had a habit of faring very well against the leading batsman as well. And at Ambrose's, when Ambrose retired, Michael Atherton paid a tribute to Curtly Ambrose, and he said that at his best, Ambrose went beyond that fine line that separated the great from the very good. And he also said that quality bowlers essentially had to have two of the three things, and that was pace, movement, and accuracy. And he said that Ambrose had all three of them, which is very true. I mean, he had a lot of pace, he did have a lot of movement, and he was extremely accurate as well. So that was the tribute that Michael Atherton gave to Curtly Ambrose when he retired. And Ambrose was very uncomfortable to face, and there was another thing about Ambrose, unlike a lot of other, I mean, some bowlers used to, but Ambrose had this habit of taking wickets in a cluster. When he was on a good spell, I mean, he used to take wickets like 2, 3, 4 wickets. I mean, and you never knew, I mean, when Ambrose was going to just run through the opposition. I mean, he was that good. And normally a lot of fast bowlers, a lot of bouncers, especially from West Indies. But from all the West Indian bowlers that I've seen, Ambrose is one who rarely used the short pitch to the bounce. I mean, he did bowl the bouncer, yes, but not as much as the other West Indian bowlers. But when he did bowl a bouncer, I mean, Curtly Ambrose had a very hostile bouncer. It was very accurate and it was very fast as well. I've seen some batsmen getting hit by Curtly Ambrose. And he was a man of very few words. He hardly ever spoke to the batsman as well. I mean, there was this one incident where he had a big argument and fight with this T.O. Famously in West Indies. But otherwise, Ambrose was never someone who spoke to the batsman, and he always made the ball talk. And Ambrose was also very notoriously famous for being reluctant to speak to the journalist. He never spoke to the journalist. He was very uncomfortable speaking to journalists. So that was something very rare about Curtly Ambrose as well. And Curtly Ambrose's celebration was always extremely good. The way he used to celebrate his wickets, I mean, he used to look up to the sky, as in he used to move his hands up and down. And I mean, his bowling action, a lot of people will remember, he had a very unique bowling action and very rhythmic as well. I mean, it was a very beautiful to watch. And Ambrose took a lot of pride in his economical figures as well. He hated going for runs, and I mean, very few times when he was driven through the cars, maybe for a 4, or when he bowled a bad ball on the legs and he was flicked for a 4, you could see the disappointment on Ambrose's face. I mean, he, just like Glenn McGrath as well, he never expected himself to bowl a bad ball, and he took a lot of pride in keeping very good economy rate and not giving batsmen easy runs. That was something very unique about Curtly Ambrose, the pride that he had in not giving away runs. And he was also a very good guitar player, by the way. After his retirement, he started playing guitar in a reggae band as well. Obviously, West Indies people from the Caribbean are big into music and reggae, and he was playing in a band. And many years before, I did once see Curtly. Before even I saw him play a guitar, he was just showing with his fingers how you play a guitar. I mean, just the way his fingers were moving, it was very obvious that he was a very good guitar player, because his fingers were moving very fast. And I've also once or two times I've actually seen some video where he was playing the guitar, and even when some former players went into a club, he was busy performing with the band. So Curtly Ambrose, someone who enjoys his music like most West Indians do as well, and a very good guitar player. So that is what I have to say about Curtly Ambrose. I mean, he is absolutely a legend for West Indian cricket, not just West Indian cricket, and in the world stage as well. I mean, he has given so many heartaches, heart troubles for batsmen over the years in the 90s. I mean, he was excellent. I mean, it was really hard to get score runs off him, and he always used to give trouble with his extra bounce, and he used to get wickets in a cluster as well. And together with Courtney Walsh, he formed one of the greatest bowling partnerships of all time. It's when you talk about Curtly Ambrose, you miss him, and he was such a character as well. I mean, very tall, like I said, but he was a very good gentleman as well. I mean, never spoke to the word to the batsman, or never chirped at them, or never abused them. He just minded his own business, and he always made the ball talk, and that's how he performed. And he was a performer, high time performer. I mean, he was one of the best match winning bowlers of all time. So that is my video on Curtly Ambrose. So I hope you have enjoyed it. Someone who has taken more than 400 test wickets for West Indies, and more than 200 wickets in one day international crickets, and almost 1,000 wickets in first class cricket, and someone who was one of the most accurate bowlers of all time, someone who used to get steep bounce and make it uncomfortable for batsmen, and someone who had one of the best economy rates in the history of cricket. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Take care, and God bless you.